TV, myself Theo Kane, and welcome to a brand new episode of All Figured Out. Today's episode, as always, is sponsored by Floston Paradise, that's fpcollectibles.com. These are a UK based company that get all the sickest toys from America and around the world, and they bring them over to England, and then you don't have to pay no import charges, and then you'll get all the sickest toys from around the world at a nice price. If you're like me and you collect toys and you've bought them from all over the world and you've spent a lot of time buying them online and stuff like that, you'll know that you get hit with import charges. Not with Floston Paradise. These guys get all the sickest stuff, so many exclusives. They get all the stuff that you won't get anywhere else in England, and they bring them to your door at a nice price. So head over to fpcollectibles.com, have a look through the stuff, and if you buy anything, let them know that Slimehouse sent you. So today, they've sent me a really fucking cool thing that I can't wait to get into. They've sent me the brand new ReAction Super7 Planet of the Apes series. First of all, you'll have to excuse my voice. I've got a cold that's lasted like 3 fucking weeks and I just can't get rid of it. But obviously the show must go on, so we're cracking on anyway. So yeah, they sent me this brand new series of Planet of the Apes figures, and Planet of the Apes is one of my favourite ever franchise of movies. Not the Mark Wahlberg, Tim Burton ones, not the new ones with James Franco, the Rise of the Planet of the Apes and that kind of thing. They're cool. I liked them. I enjoyed them. In fact, the new series of movies I really liked, but my favourites are the original ones, and that's what the ReAction have made these new toys of. So, excuse me. You'll know from the last from some of the last videos, one of the earliest videos that we did actually on here of All Figured Out, I reviewed the Forbidden Zone playset by Super7. That was all linked to the first wave of Planet of the Apes. Now, I don't have any of them to show you, but Nick assures me that he is going to send me the first wave, because they've been out a while now, but they do still sell them, and it'd be cool just to look at them on the page anyway, because we're doing wave 2. But yeah, I've got the full set of Wave 2 that we're going to go through, and I'm also going to chronologically talk you through their movies, because they're one of my favourite movie franchises, and if I can urge you to watch them by watching this video, then that's good for me. I'm happy with that, do you know what I'm saying? So, the first ever Planet of the Apes movie, you've got Charlton Heston's character. He's in a spaceship, checking out something to do with space. I don't know, they're going to the moon or something, I don't know what they're doing. They're doing some space exploration. I don't always take in all them little minor details in movies like that, because I'm just getting straight into the good bits. But yeah, they're in space and they end up through some kind of wormhole, and then the spaceship crashes, and when Charlton Heston wakes up, he's on a planet. He's landed in water and don't know where he is, so he takes off his spacesuit and he's wandering through the Forbidden Zone, the desert, as he just presumes he's landed back on Earth, and he sees some mad crosses with like mad skulls hanging on them, and he's like, that looks a bit dodgy. Next minute, he's getting captured by apes that can speak. Now, he's had his voice box damaged, so he can't talk. So he also sees then that there's other humans living on this planet, and they're all dressed like cave people. They're like feral. He's looking feral and cave person-y because he hasn't got his spacesuit on, because he's took it off because it was weighing him down or something. And he's got all these ape soldiers, human anthropomorphic standing up, what do you call it, bipedal anthropomorphic human gorilla hybrids. They capture him, and they're capturing other people, and they put him in a holding cell with Nova, who was one of my favourite female characters from any film ever, and she's a mute, she can't speak, and you've got Charlton Heston's character who also can't speak, so they presume that he's just one of these guys. So, first of all, let's get into the toy that we're talking about at the minute. He gets captured by these gorilla soldiers. This is what they look like. I'm going to try not get glare on the screen. I think if they're there, they won't get no glare on them. So first of all, we've got the gorilla soldiers that he gets captured by. Now, these are both the exact same figure, but they're done in colour variants. If you're like me, you love that soup can thing of having like multiples of the same thing, but slight different. That's why I like these Misfits figures that they've been releasing, because it's the same mould, but each one is coloured slightly different. One's in like a translucent plastic. Not transparent, as people keep telling me on the comments. It's not transparent, it's translucent. I read what you say in the comments, so shouts for the correction there. So yeah, we get some toys that are re-released, same but different colour variants, and I always like that. I'm a sucker for it, what can I say? So yeah, we've got the first two. So you've got the both from Planet of the Apes, the 1968 original. You've got a Gorilla Soldier Hunter and a Gorilla Soldier Patrolman. So they're very cool straight away, always in that kind of Star Wars style, the 3.75 style, the little kind of Star Wars size. And what I love about them is it's like they just came from a time machine. They're proper old school style figures, the little old size, very simple articulation. These aren't hot toy quality, they're not NECA quality. You don't want that when you get a ReAction Super 7 figure. You want this quality. Looks old school, looks like it just fell in a time machine and we just discovered it now, a brand new line. And as always, we've got the dope art. Who's it by this time? It's often by Ed Repka or Jason Edmonston. Ed Repka again, shouts to Ed Repka, I love his artwork. I'm liking that even the guns look like old school, like Kenner style guns and stuff. So straight away we've got the guerrilla soldiers. So that's who captures Charlton Heston, and he's trapped in a cage and he keeps trying to escape and that kind of thing. And then he does escape, he runs out of his cage and the guerrilla soldiers are chasing him and they rope him up and they get him in a net and then they hoist him up, and then all of a sudden his voice comes back and he goes, "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape!" And all apes are like, "What the fuck?" Because they all speak, they've never heard a human speak ever. This is a planet of apes, the planet of the apes. It's a whole different planet of apes that talk where humans don't talk. So they're like, fuck, this guy can talk. So they have a whole council meeting saying whether this guy should be treated like an ape or not. And it's mental. And then anyway, the whole film plays out and he ends up escaping the planet of the apes. And him and Nova, the mute, who's now his girlfriend, head off into the Forbidden Zone, which you're never supposed to go. The Forbidden Zone, apes don't go there, and we find out there's a reason why. Because in the Forbidden Zone, we find that there's a cave, and in the cave it's got some artifacts, some human artifacts. So you kind of think, what? There's human artifacts in this cave? That's crazy. Like, that's mental. I don't understand. Like, I thought this was a whole Planet of the Apes, that kind of thing. And all along, Dr. Sayers, who is he's like an orangutan ape. There's different ones. You get chimps, you get gorillas, you get orangutans. He knew all along that there was that humans could once talk. This is when things get interesting. And then the best ever twist in any film ever. Charlton Heston makes his way across the desert on his own at this point. I can't remember why he's lost Nova. I need to revisit these films. But he looks and he sees something and he drops to his fucking knees and the camera turns round and we see that the Statue of Liberty is in the fucking sand from the waist up. Apocalyptic as fuck. He's been on Earth all this time. He's been trying to escape Earth this whole time and he just fucking drops to his knees realising I've gone through some mad wormhole bazillion years in the future. Not a bazillion years in the future, but hundreds of years in the future, and I've been home all this time. I've been trying to escape somewhere. I can't travel back in time. I'm fucked. And it's such a good ending. Some notable characters as well from that one is you've got Cornelius and Zira, his wife, who were two apes, two chimps. So you kind of get the chimps are like the nice ones. They're the ones that are just like your everyday people, your working class people kind of thing. You get your orangutans, which are like your science dudes, your philosophers, your revolutionaries, those kind of people. They're like your government kind of apes. And then you've got the gorillas, which are straight soldiers. So we're going to talk about Cornelius and Zira because they're important later on. So boom, that's the first movie. Then in the second movie, Charlton Heston's only in it a little bit. It's a new guy that's in it. I can't remember his name, but it's all about basically we return to the Planet of the Apes, and in the Return to the Planet of the Apes, there's a whole thing that happens where they discover there's humans living underground in these mad cave systems. These guys. Mendez, whatever that number is, 26, 24, Mendez 24 or something like that. I'm not good with Roman numerals. I should be because I used to work in a tattoo shop and had to draw them all the time, but I just forget. So yeah, you've got this guy Mendez, and so basically underneath these mad caves on the Planet of the Apes is all these people that are like damaged by radiation or some shit like that, and they all worship a big fucking nuclear bomb. There's a big gold nuclear bomb and all these guys worship it. So we'll stop there story-wise and we'll talk a little bit about the figure. So we've got an interchangeable head because when you first see them, they look like normal skin with like a turban thing wrapped around the head, and then they take it off and then you see that they've got the mutated radiated skin, but they all worship a bomb. So he's awesome. We've got that bad boy Ed Repka art straight up there. If there's some glare on these pictures, I'll just keep cutting to the close-ups, but yeah, you've got the bad boy Ed Repka art there. I love his fucking artwork, it's proper cool. And then again, you've got the 3.75 Kenner style action figure there of Mendez, with a different interchangeable head, or no, it's a hood that pulls over, very much like your old Princess Leia bounty hunter figure and that, and the old Han and Luke figures where you put the Stormtrooper help on them where they're disguised as Stormtroopers. So yeah, this is another awesome figure. And when I heard that they was doing a wave 2 of Planet of the Apes figures, I was like, I hope that they do these guys because they're very fucking sick. I think they even took this idea and used it in one of the Fallout games. I've not properly played those games, but I know that there is like a whole race of people that worship a nuclear bomb. So they're worshipping a nuclear bomb, and then at the end of the movie, the bomb gets boom, gets erupted, it gets exploded, and we presume it wipes the whole surface of the Earth out. Then in the third movie, we find out that Cornelius, Zera, and another ape that they've got with them, I forget his name, they managed to get in the ship that Charlton Heston crash landed in. Because what happens in the third movie, it's in our time, it's normal time. These fucking movies are so sick and they all go full circle, and that's one of the reasons I love them so much. They're so perfect. It opens to a beach and it's humans, our time, and a pod, a dropship, the space thing, the spaceship escape pod that Charlton Heston crash landed on the Planet of the Apes in. It lands in our sea, so humans, police, army, military, whatever, they go and rescue the ship out, and then when it comes out, spacemen get out of the ship and then they take their helmets off, and it's fucking Cornelius, Zera, and their nephew. They escaped the Planet of the Apes in that ship and landed, and they've gone through a fucking wormhole and landed back in our time. They've landed back in the time of us. So the roles are completely reversed, because in the first film the apes were treating humans like shit, and then in this one it's the humans with just a handful of apes. So how's that going to go down? So you've got this guy, Cornelius, his wife Zera, and their nephew, I forget the nephew's name, but they all come down in the spacesuits. So yeah, we'll stop the story there and we'll talk again about the figure. I'm ranting, but I love these movies so much, so forgive me. Again, we've got the sick Ed Repka. Oh, how can you not love that? That's such a sick portrayal of the character. And then you've got, again, with a helmet that fits on the top of his head. So if you put that on, he's going to look like a spaceman, but you take it off and he's got the Cornelius head. So this is another one that I was like, I hope they do like a spaceman version, because I love spaceman shit. I love spaceman zombies and spaceman mutants, and spaceman apes are fucking awesome. So yeah, in this film, at first they treat like celebrities. The humans keep them in a cage when they first drop, and they put them in when they first land, they put them with a gorilla, and then wow, oh, the gorilla kills their nephew. The gorilla kills their nephew. So they're like, shit, we can't keep these together. And they realise that these are intelligent apes. They can talk. They can do whatever we want. They're just like a human. So they kind of get treated like a celebrity for a bit. Something happens. I can't remember what it happens, but the tables turn, and from like their celebrity status where everyone loves them, they start getting pursued by the police. Now at this point, they've had a child together, a little baby, and it's a real chimp in the movie, but they have a baby, which I don't know if they name it at this point, but it's important because the name comes in later. So Cornelius and Zera have this baby, and they end up at a circus, and there's some other little chimp babies there. The police are pursuing him. There's a guy in it, I can't remember his name, but he's the guy that runs the circus, and he's cool as fuck. And they end up getting pursued by the police, and then at the end of the film, spoilers, there's fucking tons of spoilers in these, the police fucking kill Cornelius and Zera. They kill him, they shoot him dead, and they shoot their fucking baby. So you're like, fuck. But then you find out that they switched their baby at the fucking circus with another chimp. So their baby, the last remaining one in the universe of the speaking apes, is in a circus. Then the next movie comes. Like I said, these movies are fucking sick. And in the Revolt of the Planet of the Apes, this one's called, there's been a disease where all dogs and cats died. So people wanting that like pet, they want a pet, they want something they can take home and then have as a pet. They start getting apes. And a few years pass, and then the apes have turned from pets to more like servants, slaves almost in the house. They all wear boiler suits, and they'll bring you your dinner and this kind of thing. They do the cooking and the cleaning. They can't speak, but they still stood up more bipedal. They're like the actual apes we've seen in the other movies, the apes that can talk and the gorilla apes and that kind of thing. So humans are keeping them as pets / servants, and then we've got the ape who is. That was the baby in the last film, who's now like a teenager, and he's with the dude from the circus who was running the circus, and he's like pretending that that's his servant, but actually this fucking ape can speak. He gets something happens, he gets captured, and he plays dumb, he pretends that he can't speak, and his new owner says you can choose your own name, and he picks a book and he picks out a Roman book and he chooses the name Caesar, and they're like, Caesar, that's a conqueror's name. He's like, that's the name you want, and he nods his head. So he single-handedly rises up and gets every other ape to revolt against humans because he's seeing them treat them like fucking slaves, and he's like, fuck these fucking humans, they killed my parents, they treat us like slaves, we are gonna fucking rise. And he does one of the sickest speeches that I've ever heard. I actually put it on one of my albums when he says, your cities will lie buried under radioactive rubble, and I will start a new world where apes rule, and this day is upon you now. It's the sickest speech. That's Revolt of the Planet of the Apes. There's no figures for that yet, but I fucking hope they do, because the ones with the like the AK-47s and shit in the red boiler suits would look so fucking sick. So years pass, and then there's so in this distant future there's been another war, something else has happened, and all the cities are radiated and all destroyed, and Caesar is now one of the leaders of the big fucking group of apes that are now all there. They can all talk again. You've got all the generals back in all the regalia from the first film and all in the same outfits and stuff like that, and that's where you get introduced to this guy, General Aldo. Where is he? Where's General Aldo? He's here. He's a very important character because he gets mentioned in number 3. Cornelius and Zira say that there's a dude called General Aldo who's leading all the gorillas now, and then you see him for a little bit in the Revolt of the Planet of the Apes, and then he's in this one now as a full-fledged character, and he's the guy that leads all the gorillas, and he's jealous of Caesar. So loads of shit happens because in this one Caesar's now got a kid, and he purposely injures. Fuck, I can't get my words out. He injures Caesar's kid. So Caesar's kid is now injured, and and then they find that there's all these humans that are living in the radiated cities that are all like burnt post-apocalyptic humans on some Mad Max shit, and they're gonna go to war with the apes. So he's saying we need to go to war, and Cornelius don't want to go to war. He's not for war anymore. He wants to just fucking live out peacefully, if I remember right. But Aldo wants it. He wants that shit. He wants to go. So he purposely injures Caesar's kid so that Caesar has to stay with his child and he can lead a war against the humans and go get all the guns and that kind of thing. So there's a big sick war in that movie where all the humans fight all the apes, and then after the big war, it's peace. Humans and apes are living together at this point as well. I forgot to mention that. Humans and apes are living together, and they're trying to like coexist, but humans are still a level below apes. Then at the end of the film, Aldo, so we'll just stop there and we'll talk about Aldo here. So he's very similar to these gorillas. He might even have the same body. Okay, so he's got the same body, but he has got a different head. Is it a different head or just it might just be a different colour of the head. I think it's just a different colour variant, but it's a different enough of a colour variant for it to be a whole new character. And he has got a whole new different colour, art there by Ed Repka, so he has got his own art as well. And General Aldo is a very important character because he started all this shit and kicked and did and injured Caesar's kid. At the end of the film, Caesar and Aldo fight to the death. He kills Aldo, and that's when he gets the line from where he's like, from this moment on, ape shall never kill ape. So humans and apes live together, and lots of years pass, and we see that human children and ape children are in school learning together, and that's how it ends. So what a fucking sick fucking turn of films from the start, where it was humans getting treated like shit, and then apes getting treated like shit, and then a big war, and then we live together in harmony, and ape shall never kill ape. So I really ranted on about those movies and probably not made much sense, but they're so fucking sick. If you want a sick franchise of films to revisit and go back to, knowing that they all perfectly chronologically follow on from each other, then check out Planet of the Apes. And then at that point, you're obviously going to want to buy some toys, so head over to FP Collectibles, check out the new toys that they've got. They've got the whole Planet of the Apes series. So we've got the last one to get into, which is this guy. So we've got the Lawgiver. So I don't open those toys because, look at them, they look cool. I always say this, they look cool on the card as they are. They've got sick artwork. If you take that little figure off the card, it takes away the whole package for me, and I really like that it's a whole package with the artwork. This, however, is collector friendly. So I'm going to cut back in a minute and we're going to open this up, but we've got the Lawgiver figure, which is actually it's a statue from the first movie, but they've turned it into like a statue / action figure. So I've seen some people online that have opened theirs and put pictures up. I purposely didn't look at their pictures because I wanted the surprise of me opening it for myself. So I'm going to cut back in a minute, we're going to open it up, and then we're going to check out the figure. Cool, so I've opened it, and like I said, it's kind of a mix between an action figure and a statue diorama kind of thing, like something to, if you're setting the scene, you got the Forbidden Zone and stuff, you're wanting to lay some little scenario out. So, let's have a look. Oh, it's huge! It's way bigger than the other figures. Check that. Way bigger. If I put that next to Aldo there, look. It's way bigger. Cool. So he's like the size of a normal figure, not no 3.75 Kenner Star Wars-y thing. So let's have a look at these Twizzlers. Try and to make sure this video don't go on too long as well. Like I said, I apologise for the crazy ass long rant. In fact, I don't apologise for it because Planet of the Apes is fucking sick. So if I have to rant about it, then that's just how it is. So we've got the figure here. I'll get some close-ups of him. What articulation has he got? Both legs, 2 arms and an head. It's bizarre that they made it into an action figure from a statue. But I ain't complaining because I love action figures. It's just crazy. And I love the plastic it's made out of. It's kind of like a gold with a bit of like a sheen to it and then some kind of either dry brush effect or that's something that is part of the plastic. No, it's like a dry brush effect over it. And also it's got the old kind of Star Wars style holes in the feet. Growing up, I thought any toy that had holes in its feet were a Star Wars figure. Well, not growing up, when I was like 4 or some shit. So he's fucking awesome. We'll get some nice close-up shots of him. If you fancy some of these yourself, head over to fpcollectibles.com. Like I said, if you've not seen these movies, watch them. And I guarantee by the end of the movies, end of all 5 movies, binge through them, you'll want to buy these toys from fpcollectibles.com. I'm Theo Kane. This is Slimehouse TV. We'll be back soon with another video. Until then, we're gone. Boom! As always, thank you so much for checking out the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. We're also on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And on top of all that, we recently set up a Patreon, so please check that out and find out how you can help us make Slimehouse bigger and better than ever. Don't forget to check out all the other cool stuff on our channel, and we'll catch you next time on Slimehouse TV.